Well, that's Taurus and Aries. That's gonna happen.
No, Nick is a Taurus.
He's a Taurus? I thought he
Yes.
was Aries.
He's like right on his birthday is like the 20th, the 21st. He's right
Wait, what day? April?
April.
Oh,
The
that's
first
Taurus.
week in Taurus.
That's
Yeah.
Taurus. Oh no,
They like whatever. Yeah, that's what they
that's
call.
Aries.
He claims
April
Taurus.
20th, Aries.
He claims
Hitler. Was that Hitler? That's Luther Vandross. April 20th.
but those are all Taurus.
They claim Aries.
No, they claim Taurus. You look up Luther.
That's a cusper though, for sure.
Yeah, so
I love it.
but nah, I mean I think it makes it's good conversation though, so it don't matter how I feel. Do you know what I'm saying?
I
Nothing
love
like that.
Jill. Tell him, Jill.
It doesn't matter how I feel. Like it's good conversation. People feel the way you feel. Oh, other people are chiming in. They do a lot. No, they're iffy with them. They're like, I wouldn't invite. I mean, some people do feel like he oversteps the line,
A little bit, but it makes for great radio.
and that's what I'm saying. So, I just let him get his piece off and be like, whatever. Keep moving. So that's it. You feel how you feel. Have a good night. Have a great show, bro.
Thank you. What up, James? We appreciate the love, man, right off top.
Let's fight the power. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. KBLA Talk 1580. Got your black.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on because it takes
What
two to
is that?
tango, and I need to hear his side of the story. So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, and I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light. See the light.
Everybody hit that like button. Let's go. Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Listen, I don't know who this is for, but check this. Everybody doesn't need access to your life or your presence. Let me repeat that. Everybody doesn't need access to your life or what you have going on. Because not everybody is clapping for you. Not everybody is praying for you. Not everybody is wanting the best for you. And not everybody is good for you. Some people just around to get the intel, just so they can tell. Some people around you just so they can hate, because they could never be. And some people just need access to have identity. And all of those characters that I just named off or what you call vipers. They will take. They're takers and vipers like a snake. And they will take. And you actually think you have it going on because they congratulate you, handshake you, and cheer for you when you're wrong. But they're already on your demise. Because the moment you fall is their opportunity to gain your position. Be careful who you allow in proximity with your success. Be careful who you allow in your home, in your bed, but most importantly, in your mind. Be careful. Because everybody's agenda is not good, even though it appears to be. So we can have fun, but I choose who I will have fun with. Having a good time doesn't mean that it's safe for my life. Having a good time is questionable when it's a demise to who I'm called to be. I'll catch you later, because you will never be able to sit with me. Get your own table. Because see, I know who you are and what you came to do. Not on my watch. Who sent you? Brandy Jan scripted.
Wait, Andy, who was that lady?
Friendly Jan scripted.
Boy, who upset her? Hey, there were several things that she spoke of. Can't let everybody into your space. Your space is sacred by default. After today, we only have 2 more episodes in this series, right? The series, the spiritual laws of relationship that you must respect. To go even deeper, the unseen spiritual laws of intimate relationship that you must respect. We are on episode 6, and when I tell you, the feedback from this series has been crazy. People reaching out in the DMs, hey man, this show was nuts. Everybody's talking about their favorite episode. And today's episode will be no different. The law of access. Sharing sacred things with unworthy people gives dark energy, forces access to you. Guard your spiritual intimacy. 1-800-920-1580. Get to your phone lines. You already know what it is. This is a national discussion, and I want to get everybody's perspective and opinion on tonight's topic. What if the greatest threat to your evolution isn't who harms you, but who gains access to you unearned? Wait, let me bring that back. I'm sorry. What if the greatest threat to your evolution isn't who harms you, but who gains access to you unearned? The law of access contends that intimacy without discernment is not love, it is energetic leakage disguised as vulnerability. Drawing from trauma theory, quantum coherence, and esoteric spiritual law, this episode seeks to obliterate the illusion that exposure equals intimacy, attraction, or attachment. It is a privilege calibrated to frequency, not familiarity. Listen to what I'm saying, man. Whoever's in your presence is on your vibrational level. They're on your frequency. Sometimes the breakup is the up level. That's another show. To share the unprocessed depths of your being with an incoherent soul is to commit spiritual malpractice against yourself. Intimacy becomes a form of trespassing. Vulnerability becomes violation. And what masquerades as connection becomes a parasitic cord. Here we confront the heretical truth. Oversharing is not courage. It is often a trauma reflex, begging for containment. Boundaries are not emotional walls. They are ontological membranes preserving the integrity of your being. Time does not heal wounds, it calcifies them unless alchemized through presence. And love, if not rooted in reciprocal reverence, is simply possession in sacred costumes. Who have you allowed to come into your presence? Huh? Whose presence have you been in and you knew, Lord, I'm in trouble now? Why am I even here? What have I done? This is not a relationship podcast episode. That's not what this is. This is a metaphysical indictment against the casual commodification of the soul. Your intimacy is sacred technology, and not all who desire it have earned the bandwidth to hold its voltage. Guard it. Not out of fear, but because divinity never negotiates with incoherence. When you're unindividuated, you're incoherent spiritually. That means you're going to go into someone else's life. They might be equally as incoherent as you, but both of y'all are a mess. Incoherent is a synonym for a mess. And you guys are just going to make a bigger mess. Divinity never negotiates with incoherence. Somebody get to me right now. The number to dial, 1-800-920-1580. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. We're talking about the law of access. You've shut off access to your own unindividuated self. So you're going to allow access to everybody. Is everybody free before 10 p.m.? Not everybody deserves to know you. The myth of earned intimacy. Psychological insight. Oversharing is often a symptom of attachment trauma, not transparency. Philosophical insight. Intimacy without discernment collapses the boundary between recognition and exploitation. Here's your metaphysical and/or spiritual insight. Access is a vibrational contract, not a relational default. Ooh. How many people just let them into the foyer of your spirit? And y'all know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what a foyer is, right? Sometimes you just let them into the foyer and they'll think they back. You're not back. You in the foyer. Here's your empirical insight. Studies show boundary violations trigger nervous system dysregulation and emotional fatigue, according to Siegel and polyvagal theory. Emotional nudity is not a love language. The trauma reflex of oversharing, your psychological insight. Emotional dumping mimics the emotional enmeshment experienced in childhood neglect. Your philosophical insight. Confession does not equal communion. What is raw is not always real. Spiritual insight. To reveal sacred truths without ritual is to desecrate the temple of the self. What ritual is needed? I'm going to get to it. 1-800-920-1580. High rates of cortisol and emotional burnout are linked to repetitive, unreciprocated disclosure in relational dynamics, according to Brown and Brené. That's what we own right now. Trauma bonds disguised as soul contracts. Why? You're addicted to the unworthy. Listen, Healing is not like going to CVS and picking up some Theraflu, okay? Some Theraflu. Healing is not that simple. Many of us think we can just heal because we regurgitate spiritual syntax. We regurgitate spiritual wording, verbiage, language, right? But the reality of it is, healing hurts. Sorry, I'm just here to tell you. Healing hurts. Evolving hurts. It's not an easy walk, right? It's not. But many of us think if we can regurgitate the words, the terms, the phrases, the concepts, if we understand it intellectually, boom, we're healed. No, no, no. No. Listen, until you heal, the unworthy will remain your soulmate. What? What? See, when you actively repress what is in you to be reconciled, and you attract somebody who is equally committed to the process of suppressing and repressing the work that needs to be done, you make yourself unworthy of the gifts that live within you. You are divine by nature, divine by birth, but your ego tells you the unworthy is for you because it's easier, because it's comfortable. Do you see? Why you're addicted to the unworthy. Trauma bonds disguised as soul contracts. Many confuse attachment activation for love due to unhealed abandonment wounds. Listen, when you allow the unhealed abandonment wounds a seat at the table, without reconciling, without embracing with the love, without looking objectively with love and empathy, they'll never heal. They're going to always sit at the head of the table. They're going to always get the big piece of chicken. They're going to always be in control of your internal life, which manifests in your external relationships. Do you see? Many confuse attachment activation for love due to unhealed abandonment wounds. Right? What we think is destiny is often familiarity, repeating itself until interrupted. Trauma recognizes trauma. Don't that sound familiar? Andy, what that sound like? When you heard trauma recognize trauma, what that sound like? Real recognize real. Hurt recognize hurt. Trauma recognizes trauma, not truth. Karmic ties are not always divine ties. Huh? Empirical insight. According to fMRI studies, right, it shows increased dopamine in relationships mimicking addictive cycles. That's Libowitz. Hurt recognizes hurt, man. Trauma recognizes trauma. That's how you connect with a person. If you're unindividuated, if you haven't gotten on the pathway to healing. The spiritual cost of unreciprocated vulnerability when I come forward. I'm asking you, who has access? Why have you given them access? Get to your phone lines. The number to dial, 1-800-920-1580. Oops. Come on, y'all. Where we at? Get on the phone lines. Let's talk, let's talk, let's talk. Get on the phone lines, people. What up? Get on the phone lines, 1-800-920-1580. I know we got all type of people in here. Holla at your brother. Where are my callers? Where we at? One 1-800-920-1580.
Understand that everybody shouldn't get the same version of you. Everybody doesn't deserve the same level of access to you. There are some people that need to just be associates. There are some people that just need a little bit of information. There are some people that you want to give everything to. But everybody shouldn't get everything. Figure out where people belong and put them in those places. Easy as that. Air hugs and cyber kisses.
Is that the young lady that we played earlier? Hey, man, people out here talking, man, and I want to know, at what level of intimacy, right? Like, is there, like, if we look at it like a military rank, what is your intimacy clearance? Yeah, she said some people should just be associates, right? At what level of intimacy clearance does your significant other need to have access to in order to gain access to your inner thoughts and feelings, right? Is your partner only permitted to follow orders because they haven't been granted sufficient intimacy clearance to contribute to your healing? I'm interested to know. If I speak sacred truth to someone who seeks to control rather than commune, do I transmit light or activate their shadow? Could offering emotional transparency to someone not initiated or integrated in reciprocity resembles spiritual exhibitionism. Like, I'm just throwing it away. Pearls to swine. Could offering emotional transparency to someone not initiated in reciprocity resemble spiritual exhibitionism? Might my impulse to share everything reflect a trauma-based compulsion to be seen rather than a sovereign choice to be known? Eesh. Does access equal entitlement? Or do I confuse empathy with obligation when I do not discern who may enter my sacred space? If I withhold my inner world from those who demand access, does that make me guarded or awake? In what ways might my fear of being too much mask an unconscious knowing that they are not enough to hold me? 1-800-920-1580. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Come on, let's get to the phone lines. 1-800-920-1580. Let's talk about it. Could oversharing represent a covert form of spiritual self-harm disguised as intimacy? What parts of me have only ever been touched by projections and never by presence? Might giving somebody access to my inner world be a trauma reenactment I never assessed? Are y'all listening? I see my people in the chat right now. Everybody hit the like button, hit the share button. And don't forget, this is a national discussion. If you want to participate, call in, because when we get on the other side, I'm going to be bringing in the callers almost immediately. The number to dial, 1-800-920-1580. Might giving someone access to my inner world be a trauma reenactment if I never assessed their spiritual readiness? When did I first equate vulnerability with value? And how did that belief invite violation? Man, oh man, Shevitz. Do I confuse emotional intensity with energetic integrity? Eesh. If someone hasn't earned access to my nervous system, why do I entrust them with my nervous breakdowns? When we come forward, oh Lord, the voice of reason, is somebody going to answer these questions? We got callers from all over the country. Let's get it cracking. What up, what up? We got people calling and hanging up. Why are you calling and hanging up? Who is that? Who's calling and hanging up? Don't call and hang up. If you want to call in and talk to us. You got the framework of the show. Let's go. Oh, you're in Canada. Got it. No, they answered the phone and said you were a troller. Call in again. Andy, were you trolling? Right, who is that? Good question. Oh, you should definitely try to call in. Andy, who was the dude that called and hung up?
I don't know, some troll.
He did say you called him he said he called him a troll. He said he's from Canada.
You got somebody in your chat trying to call in?
Yeah.
Well, tell him he needs to act correct, because he over here acting like you don't know how this shit go. Am I on? I don't be trusting that shit.
Yeah.
He sound like a white boy.
Yeah, he says he's from Canada.
I don't know. I ain't feeling him.
Andy's like, hey, you gotta. He said, act right if you want to get on. Act right. Oh shit. I've been watching Zoe for a long time. The old show. Hey, perfect, man. Just follow Andy's instructions and you're good. So he's gonna ask you if you know what the topic is. He gonna just he's in the kitchen right now, but he's on his way back. He gonna tap in with you. There's no profanity on the air. No cursing, no curse words, no profanity. None. And when you call in, you got to be on topic. I just joined in, so can you tell the topic? It is relatable to what I'm going through. All right, so you might want to listen for a minute and get a better understanding of what we're talking about. Ooh. I tell her, hey man, hey, stop. Hey, what up, C. Irving? I'm loving this series, though. The last one was fire. Hey, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. We doing our best. This series is crazy.
Oh boy, you can call, but he better be on topic.
Hey, Andy said you can call, but you got to be on topic.
There's only one way to know if someone is safe for your nervous system. It's not how long you've known them. It's not how well they hide their red flags. It's not even how much you laugh together. It's how they respond to your vulnerability. Do they hold it or weaponize it? Do they listen or get defensive? Do they stay present or do they shut down? Because the ones who are safe won't make you shrink or second guess. They'll make your system regulate, and you can't fake that biological response.
Very interesting take. The voice of reason, live from KBLA Talk 1580. We're on complete fire tonight. You already know what it is. Episode 6 in the series of the spiritual nature of relationships. You've heard me say it for years now. Relationships are inherently spiritual. And now we're giving you these episodes that break down the different spiritual aspects of relationships. Now, mind you, what do we do? 8? We're going to do 8. There are so many more. There's so many more than just 8. But I figured 2 weeks of it is enough, right? But tonight's episode, the law of access. Many people have yet to master who should come into their space, or why the people who are already in their space, how did they even get access? How did they get the keys? Could sharing too soon, too often, too deeply with the unworthy be the equivalent of casting pearls before spiritual predators? Yeah, you're not supposed to have dead air on radio, but you gotta let the mic drop on now. Do you understand? Did you hear it? Could sharing too soon, too often, too deeply with the unworthy be the equivalent of casting pearls before spiritual predators? If I become spiritually silent for a season, what would remain when performative vulnerability dissolves? What emerges in me when I realize that not everyone who desires me deserves me? I want to know what you guys think. We have callers on the line, and I think it's important that we get their perspective on this because, this topic is deep. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. Attila, Houston, Texas, you're up first. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Down here. So I asked a question in the chat, and Captain was like, yes and no. But I'm going to ask you, so does giving access grant dark forces access to you, or is it just an open door to release what's already present within you?
Ooh. Wait, say that again.
So does giving access grant dark forces access to you, or are you just opening the door to release what's already present?
Could be both. I love it. I love it.
She was like, yeah, no, I mean, like, kind of. Because I'm like, okay, I'm attracting my equal, right? But equal in what sense? I think the one thing that you and a quote-unquote unworthy source or person would share at that time, the one common ground you have is your perception of you, who you are. Y'all share the same perception. So you see yourself in a low place, and they see you in a low place as well. That's avoidant, right? When you think about someone who's anxious, they see their partner in a high esteem, and they see themselves in a low esteem. When you think about dismissive avoidant, they have a low esteem of their partner, but a high esteem of themselves. You see how, like, the dichotomy there. So it's just something that I like about. I was like, well, the one thing that I would share in common with somebody that's an unworthy source is that we both see me as low. So I guess the idea would be to really come into an idea of who you are. That would be the antidote to this equation. And it got me thinking about, like, past, even friendships that I've had. The only thing that really was holding that relationship or connection together was my low perception of myself. We agreed on that. And my agreement, right, is the thing that helped us go work together. That is the thing that kept me in that particular space. So when I move up out of that, when you have a quote-unquote glow up, as they say now, this is why there is no support. This is why when you're doing well, they're mute, right? So like you asked in the first place, you were like, is she angry? I don't know if it's anger or if it's more so just a feeling of like, man, I'm just tired. I think you get tired of your own ish. And in getting tired of yourself, you're tired of other people as well that are on that same frequency. So I guess it's just a matter of like personal choice, but it's something that I thought about. And I think as long as, you and I talked about this earlier, as long as I'm blind to my own issues, right, I'm also going to be blind to that other person as well.
All day in America. That's going to happen all day in America. Girl, hey, guess what you just did, young one? Houston, Texas is on the board. Are you ready to bring your city on the board? All you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. Bouncing out of Houston, Texas, we're going to go, what is that, northeast? Just a little bit northeast? Yeah, we're going to go over to Indianapolis, Naptown in the house. You already know what it is. Ronin. Oh, here we go. Seatbelts, buckle up. Ronin.
Get ready.
He done brought Naptown in the building, man. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic, brother?
I'm glad to use this topic had me custom before I called in. It sounds like an opera conversation, but you gotta ask yourself, are we willing to pay the price for interpersonal whistleblowing?
Here we go. Tell us what that is. Interpersonal whistleblowing. What does that mean, sir?
Well, it seems like some people are trying to leverage their liabilities for love.
Meaning, go deeper.
Well, the thing is, like, some people are willing to have company so bad they'll give some of their vulnerabilities just for the illusion of loyalty or love, and really giving the key to the kingdom to snakes.
Ooh. Oh, you came for blood today, huh?
The thing is, like, it's the one thing you worry about outsiders, but what about the ones that either birthed you or grew up with you?
Wow. So you saying they taught you how to betray yourself?
Most times, most will convince you, like, hey, look, the more you betray yourself, the more we can be close to you.
Wow.
But at what cost?
Yikes. Don't do that, Ronin. This is the first hour, Ronin. Why you gotta hit them on their upside their dome piece like that? But let me just say this. When there is a lack of emotional attunement in the early developmental stages of children, the boundaries are going to be weak in terms of who gets to come in. Because what happens is when the parents are not emotionally attuned, when they're not tapped in, that plants the seed of desirous, insatiable craving for a lot of kids, right? Even if they become avoidant, because inside the avoidant, there's still the desire for intimacy. It's just that they've contextualized intimacy as a source of fear, right? But, okay, you get your anxious, preoccupied, I'm going to go chase the love that I didn't get at home. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm going to perform for it in the relationship arena. Here's the thing, man. This is a tough one, and I'm throwing this to you. What happens in the moment you find out, right, that this is your particular attachment style, this is your particular proclivity for chasing or allowing people into your space? How then do you batten down the hatches, so to speak, in order to protect yourself moving forward? How do you do it?
You got to have a healthy appetite for the truth that is that medicine, as far as, like, learning what you are, what you're dealing with, and taking those necessary steps to heal yourself. So if you were raised if you were raised to be a flying monkey and you basically dismiss the program, you have to deal with the shards and arrows that come with it.
Ooh, so you got to get clipped first.
You have to.
Oh.
I mean, in a way, you have to look at it as how a phoenix is born. It has to, certain parts of it has to be destroyed in order to bring the best of it out of itself.
Man, I was on the phone with Cool Mo D today, and he said sometimes people have to crash into their delusions in order to heal.
Yeah.
It's and that's literally what you're saying right now. That's literally what you're saying.
To keep it bluntly, it's like you have to be willing to lynch your lie.
Lynch your lie? Only on the Voice of Reason will you hear Ronan from Naptown. You got to be willing to lynch the lie you told yourself? Is that what you're saying?
Well, so if you don't lynch the lie, you'll be the one left hanging.
Okay, now you're just showing off. Hey, hold tight. I got to have him one more segment. Hold tight. When we come forward, we're going back to Naptown. My brother, you hear him. You hear him. Ronan out here cooking.
So what I'm hearing is kill your ego.
Yep.
Or carry your cross, right?
Yep.
That's what he's essentially saying.
Yep. Hey, that first hour got the entire up out of here. That first hour got up out of here. Am I lying? Hey, get to your phone lines. Please call me. Get to your phone lines. Let's go. Who wants to talk about it? And I appreciate all the super chats that were unsolicited today. We got 2 super chats today. I'm thankful. If you want to support the channel, hit that $ down at the bottom of the channel, please. Or send it directly to my Cash App. We appreciate whatever support you guys got for me, all right? And the number to dial, 1-800-920-1580. All right?
What's going on, family? Let's talk about the fear I had of losing myself in love and romantic situations. I'm Eleanor, and this is Dismissible Me, where I break down dismissive avoidant attachment from the inside out. I didn't have a fear of love itself. I wouldn't say that. I would say I had a fear of the consequences of being in love or the consequences of being in a relationship. You know, what I'd have to give up to keep it. So in talking about, you know, losing myself or the fear of losing myself, to me, being in a relationship meant being erased. It meant that your needs would eclipse mine, that at some point my needs, regardless of what they actually are, would be eclipsed by your needs, your feelings, your need for time, your need for me to be more emotionally available, your need for me to be more vulnerable to match you where you're at. You know, and I hate the idea of having to sacrifice all of me to, you know, create this new situation with someone else. I also have this fear of my autonomy being compromised. And that's kind of been a theme throughout the week, not just on this channel, but even on my second one. Link is down below. Again, like, share, subscribe. But my autonomy being compromised is one of my number one fears. My ability to be myself. My ability to keep and maintain my routines while also growing and building this relationship with someone is a major concern of mine. I don't want to be
I know I let her go longer than she normally does. I just wanted to see just how much more selfishness could be. Things have to go my way. Things have to be organized this way. How do you know when to not let someone like that into your space? We're talking about the law of access. I'm asking the question, like, does that person show up like that day one, or do they gradually spring it on you like Dave Chappelle? Gotcha. Yeah, like, I'm wondering, like, do they show up like that initially? Or is there some type of camouflage? Because if I saw or if I heard or engaged up front with someone that was like that up front, no way. I'm interested to know. What do you think? We got Ronan from Indianapolis. He was cooking, man. Hey, man. Hey, this access thing is real, bro. It's a real situation, man. So I was asking you questions about when do you give someone access? When do you recognize that you may have self-sabotaged when allowing someone access to yourself, your thoughts?
I say when you understand the responsibility, the accountability of having said access to yourself. Because a lot of us are a little bit careless with everything. Everything isn't meant to be shared immediately. Some things aren't meant to be shared at all. But some of those lessons, like, again, it's like some of those lessons, if you sit there and put them in the wrong hands, it can be catastrophic. So that's why when it comes to clearance, you understand the information you've been given. You have to start having discernment of who can and cannot have access to said information. So that's like giving weapon secrets to the enemy out there. You can't weaponize everybody with that.
So if we're looking at relationships through the lens of army ranks, I'm just saying the intimacy clearance. Everybody starts off at an E1, right? A private.
Right. Right.
What do they have to do to get to E2 private number 2? What do they have to exhibit? Because I know if you're going up the rank, right, there's certain things you got to do in order to pass, okay, you're no longer a private anymore. There's certain benchmarks you got to hit in order to get to E2, right, or PV2. You tell me, what do they have to do to get to the next level from private?
You had to graduate from relationship boot camp.
Oh, Lord. Don't make me do a topic. Relationship boot camp. Is that like premarital counseling? Talk to me.
Well, here's the thing: as a Marine veteran, when you first went to boot camp, they called you a nasty civilian because of your ways, habit, and mindset. So they had to start you from scratch. Like we had 72 hours of hell. Basically, we was up, running around, doing all kinds of things and processing. So over time,
nobody's proven themselves to be down anymore.
That's the problem.
But see, that's the military, right? People say, oh, this ain't the military. This is relationships. Nobody has to prove themselves to be down with anybody. But I still think this intimacy clearance, right? You need to be of a certain rank to be able to, access certain sensitive information about your partner. How about that?
Well, I mean, it's like no different in boot camp. You have to know the information given to you by the service. Otherwise, you cannot be part of the fleet.
Man, stay right there. Don't go nowhere. We're going back to Indianapolis. My man is still cooking. What was like 2024? Davy Lee, what up, what up, what up? Third, fourth quarter, militant matrimony. Wow. Topic idea. Wow. I love it. Tell nephew to send 5 questions and a synopsis. Come with it. Let me get my Mexican gangbanger on.
Your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy? The child wasn't here, and you still had to play child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How is that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask.
Oh, Lord. Here we go. No, I'm not in it.
I'm pregnant. Betrayal has been committed. Hit you with a bad touch routine. How does he maintain his pomposity?
He likes it when it's pinky the lip.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man moves on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses. Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
So Williams. Reason and accountability. The voice of reason.
The most heartbreaking thing about having a childhood defined by neglect, wounding, inconsistency, a lack of predictability, rage, whatever it is in the parents, is often this idea that deep inside, because we believe as kids that things are our fault, that we must live in a state of fearing that at the end of the day, we cannot count on humans. Humans are not safe. As I often say, humans are the trigger. And the biggest wound about living in a state of a lack of trust, which at the core is the heart of living with a fear of abandonment, is that you can't safely relax and trust in your body as a child, that the parent will be there consistently. It's high highs, it's low lows, it's they're there, they're gone, whatever it is. And the heartbreaking piece is that in order to survive the fear of abandonment by a parent, you are forced to abandon yourself. And it starts in your cells so early in your experience that it often becomes your entire trauma personality, which is living in a state of fear of people not being safe. And what happens in these childhoods is that you spend all of your time, your resources, your coping strategies, protecting yourself, and often scanning for threat in hypervigilance or complete collapse, let's say, and shutdown of a freeze mode. You spend it in trauma responses. That takes away from your ability to develop a whole sense of self. So you spend it abandoning yourself, who you are, your beliefs, your sense of unique humanness in the world, in order to serve preparing yourself to not be abandoned, right? I must fawn over the parent this way. I must suppress my needs that way. I must live in hypervigilance over here. I must hide in my room over there. Whatever it is, you are trying in your effort to not be abandoned, because in childhood you sense that in some way. You are forced to abandon yourself. And so you wake up in adulthood and you live with this fear, believe deep inside that people will leave you, that they're not safe and not trustworthy. And it's such a part of who you are that you don't even know where to begin. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I fully believe that it plays out in this compulsiveness. Because in our childhood, when we were protecting and scanning and all those things, like a reflex, we compulsively did these next 10 things. And to me, if you really want to cure and heal as much as you can these abandonment wounds and fears, which if you have a significant one, or even just whatever it is, it's probably always going to be there in some form. But hopefully over time, you don't live in that, it doesn't pop up. When you're triggered, at some point you're able to see it, and then you know what to do about it. So let's talk about what that looks like. This is how you abandon yourself in the service of not being abandoned in childhood, and this is what it plays out in, right? Number one, compulsive shame. So you compulsively go into situations believing that you're not enough, you're not worthy, you're bad, there's something wrong with you, you're unlovable. And in some ways it acts to protect you against the even possibility of rejection, of abandonment. So you sort of read the world through the lens of these glasses. And if you want to work on healing this, you have to deal with your shame. You have to look at your literal posture, internal and external of this, which is literally trauma and shame living in the body, to come into a sense of openness and strength, and to really lean into the resilience that if you made it this far, you already have. So that's the first thing you want to work.
Man, Dr. Kim Sage on Complete Fire. Talking about that early childhood dynamic. Carry it into adult relationships for reconciliation, unbeknownst to you. It's unconscious. The voice of reason has returned. How is it that we carry all this stuff from childhood into our adult relationships and we don't know until we're there? Until the conflicts start to bubble to the surface of our consciousness. Very interesting stuff. Tonight's topic is a deep one, man. The law of access. Relationality as portal or predation. An ontological excavation of sacred boundaries, unworthy witnesses, and the metaphysics of intimacy. Who should be allowed in your space? Who is allowed in your space, and why? Who isn't allowed in your space? I'm starting to think that many people disallow the cure and allow that which is familiar. The cure might be uncomfortable, might question you, might challenge you, might break down all your preconceived ideas and concepts about everything. Right? He's not, she's not welcome here. Right? But that which is familiar to your wound's frequencies and resonance, they're welcomed. Very interesting stuff. Let me get my brother. Hey, he's back. I gotta get him. Ronan from Naptown. I'm sorry, Ronan. You gotta continue to cook, my friend. We just lost Sean. Sean from Oakland. Call back in. You know we gonna get to you. Stop playing. Get back on the line, Sean. But go ahead. Go ahead, Ronan. Finish your thought, brother.
Okay, well, that's all I'm saying is like when it came to the Marine Corps, in order to cross over, you have this thing called a crucible, and it's basically adversity training. So in the same context, you're talking about relationship. Like, does this person have confidentiality? Do they have the ability to handle and anticipate and deal with adversity? If not, they're not privileged to cross over.
Wait.
So the thing is like,
Stop, because these are big pieces.
Yeah.
Do they have the resilience to deal with adversity? That can transfer over to intimate relationships. We're not asking people to endure a boxing match in the kitchen over the last bit of Rice Krispies. That's toxic. We're talking about people who challenge who you became after you survived Mama Nim. See, that's a toxic relationship in today's redefining of it. It's just too much. I mean, oh my God, this is no, a person who is going to mirror this work back to you is seen as toxic.
Well, a lot of times we're fearful of facing ourselves. Now, the thing is, like, if I have love for you for something, like you trusted me with information, am I willing to sit back and see you through or do my best, just like in the battlefield? Am I willing to shoot those rounds next to you to make sure we make it home?
Wait, this is deep, because in the military, you guys got to have each other's back, right?
We have to. You're going to be under fire.
So translate that to the intimate piece.
When it comes to intimacy, first and foremost, you got to have your own fire team. This is where you're in the mix of everything. You have certain signals, you have certain things, and make sure you have sound communication. Everything you need to sit there and go through what you're going through to make it to the next mission or home. And most people, they'll leave you hanging, or you'll be the target of friendly fire.
Ooh, let's flip it. Back to intimate relationships. So, you said the communication has to be on point, correct?
Yes.
Because in a military sense, you guys have orders, you have instructions. And if the wrong orders or instructions are conveyed, the whole situation is at risk, correct?
Correct.
Okay, cool. Now, in the relationship, if we flip this to the relationship side, in order for you to get a higher ranking, right, for your intimacy clearance into my soul, I need to be able to trust you in there. You're not going to take back classified information, right? This information is on a need-to-know basis, correct? Right? You're not going to weaponize the information you learned about my inner child, my wounds, whatever. You're not going to weaponize that against me, right? Are Am I? Um, but do you see how I'm flipping this back? Listen, man. But do we do that in intimate relationships? In terms, we typically, you show up, you got all the clearance you need until you mess up. Am I wrong? Until you mess up, you got all the clearance. You got full access to everything until you mess up. Am I correct?
I get what you're saying, though.
No, a lot of people, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people will be like, here you go. Right? And they don't, when I say here you go, this is what I mean by that. That doesn't mean they're not skeptical. That doesn't mean that they're not withholding aspects of themselves. That doesn't mean any of that. What it means is you got the same clearance. All I'm waiting on is for time to pass. That time is used with me getting comfortable with you. And all the stuff I said I was going to hold back from you, that melts away after I get comfortable. Do you know how quick people get comfortable? Talk to me, Ronan.
Yeah, some people get way too comfortable. They want weekend liberty. They just got to boot camp. Like, that's not how that works.
Weekend liberty is crazy.
That's not how it works. Everything is earned. And the thing is, like, it comes to, like, we have this thing called esprit de corps. And, or simplified deals, always faithful.
Mm-hmm.
So, not just in the service, we got to conduct ourselves, it's outside.
Right.
How we maneuver, how we carry ourselves. The reputation matters.
Right. Man, Ronan, let me just say this, brother, man. I don't hear from you enough, but I love you, dog. I love you, man. You always come in and cook, man. Guess what you just did, my friend?
I just burned down Indianapolis.
Naptown is in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call in. The number to dial is 1-800-920-1580. We got the deaconess. The deaconess is on the line. You already know what it is. It's food for thought. Nikki from the SIP, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Just the perspective what is on the family not being talked about, but real relevant.
Mm-hmm.
So part of what makes this thing with Doge so significant in letting all these people go home or sending all these people home is they take their security clearance with them.
Oh.
when the government is sending them home, they're taking their clearance back, which devalues them in the marketplace. Because that secret security clearance has a value, dollar. So if you are allowing in your intimate relationships the secret security clearance from the get, and not requiring steps, qualifications, proof, when that person in the intimate relationship you're in with starts to behave like the dark mirror, you're not maybe picking up that you're being devalued in that space also.
Interesting. Yes. I love it.
Because when you talk about all these people going home with all this knowledge that have this secret security clearance, that gives them access to all of our civilian people's information. Retirement amounts, where you spend your money, how you spend all of that. Okay, when they say you gotta go home in 30 days, one of the things they do is they take that security clearance. So now when you get ready to go, if you're not retirement age and you get ready to go to the next job, one of the things that made you marketable, six-figure marketable, is you have that security clearance. But if they take it back, you don't have that anymore. That's why I'm saying there's a value attached to that.
Right.
Same thing's happening in your intimate relationship.
You can't be giving.
You can't give it up.
Your secret security. Not what? Listen,
But
Mississippi Pew Girl.
but wait,
all these before.
but wait, hold on one second, because you saying something that's really powerful. So many people are self-protective out of fear.
Yep.
How can you be self-protective from an awakened, non-judgmental space, right? An objective space. Because so many people think they're being protected, but really they're fearful. So they might block, good people that are coming into their life, people that are actually genuine. What's the demarcation line between an awakened boundary versus a fear-based boundary?
Part of it comes from something you talk about all the time. We talk about in here in terms of your internal work.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of like what Ronnie was talking about relative to the military. Because one of the comments I made was verbal communication and nonverbal communication.
Wait, Nikki, stay right there. Don't go nowhere. Because she is on fire. I need her to have space to do this, man. She is out here cooking the rarest grits. When we come forward, we're going back to Mississippi because Bishop Nikki ain't done. Wow. Nikki cooking.
In between, he breaks down relationship dynamics with no-nonsense wisdom and practical advice that actually works. Tackling the questions you're afraid to ask and giving you the answers you need to hear. You're inside the Voice of Reason with Phil Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
David P., you should call in. We've had a lot of people in this chat tonight. It's been a lot. Is it me? Where is I'm staying on point? Are you in here? Where is L.S. Jefferson? Where are some of our regulars? David P., you at work. Got you. Got it. I just want to make sure, like, my folks is in here. I'm like, what we doing? Always good to see L.S. Jefferson in the house. Same with I'm staying on point. I'm here at the Foundry, Shug Mac 510. Had bread to get and dry. I got you, True Monger. I see y'all. Okay, y'all here then. That's all. Just want to make sure our folks is in the building.
security, isn't it? I want to be secure. That's why I follow a guru. I want to be secure in my relationship with you, with my wife. She's mine.
She's mine.
Right? Secure. What's that? Secure, protected, safe. Some place I must have that. Right? At home, it's rather difficult in the factory or in a bureaucratic structure. The desire, the urge, the response, the reaction is safety. I must be safe, secure. Right? Okay, so-and-so name, B.A. You're a crazy cow. Or MP, member of parliament. Well, titles matter very much here in this country. So it's a form of security. Right? We all want security. But we never question, is there security at all?
Man, y'all not ready for Murti, man. Krishnamurti, man. We call him Krishnahurti because he's always dropping truth bombs that actually hurt. He said, you've never even questioned the validity of security, although you want it. And you let fear evaluate, pick and choose, and judge your partners. You're not... Let me get Nikki from the sit back in here, because that's what she was on. I don't want to infringe upon her thought. Nikki from Mississippi, please get back in here and continue this meal.
We can't do that fear thing. That fear thing is not from God anyway. And it's a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, units in the military move, they're individual people, but they operate at like 5 fingers on a hand. You throw that down right, that's a fist. Okay, in my family, we have a family whistle. We started teaching that whistle from little, when you first started walking.
Right.
Anywhere in the world I go, I hear that whistle. I know that's one of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And when I whistle back, they know I'm in the room. But verbal and nonverbal is very important. That's why you can't operate in fear, because it distracts you from being able to see in your spirit self. Because remember, we got a flesh self and a spirit self.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, a lot of times, most times, they're not operating together.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit on one tip, flesh on another tip. As we elevate,
right.
we're trying to merge the two, right?
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that same thing happens. We can't start people with the top secret security clearance in the relationship. And what I was going to say about Mississippi True Girls, see, then that extends out to the people who you have in your circle, which we learned here before last. Because there's levels to the circle around you. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right. Yeah.
She has told people, oh no, she's not in an open enrollment period. She's not taking no new training right now. For real. Because she saw something or noticed or observed or heard that I didn't see. Because that's what units do. Or people who operate on your frequency.
Right. Right.
So make sure that you understand when you're doing that internal work. That's why it's so important. Mm-hmm. I already said, these spirits now is running in packs for real.
The spirits are running in packs. Lord have mercy.
Looking for who they can devour, okay?
Oh, my goodness. Nikki,
and
guess...
remember, they will take the easy way in. Just remember that.
It's way...
not always one in the face. It's not camouflage. They'll take the easy way in. They'll ride in on somebody else.
What's the easy way in? Tell me.
They ride in on another. So you think that the one you gave the access to access is more important than possession.
Wait a minute.
I don't need $1 million. I don't need $5 million. All I need is access to someone who has that. I don't have to pay tax. I don't have to watch it. I don't do none of that. But I can still get everything I need to get because I have access to someone who has it and has to do all that other stuff. Same thing with the relationships. The spirits will ride in on the one that you gave the clearance to.
Ooh.
If you ain't feel, you won't feel. Because the one you gave clearance didn't feel.
Okay, Nikki. All right. Guess what you just did, child? Guess we love Nikki. Hey, man, Nikki from the SIP. If you want to bring your city in the bill, did you hear what she said? Sometimes they will ride in on the one you gave clearance to. Lord have mercy. Listen, when I come forward, if you think we haven't scratched the surface, you'd be 100% right. Nikki, whoa. Okay. We don't have any more callers? Any more contributors to the conversation? Did you all hear what Nikki said? Sometimes they ride in. True, David P. Piggyback for your ass. What up?
doing it properly then, what would be the outcome? The experiment of being abundant would be that you would have to feel that feeling. It's so good at doing it with your eyes closed. You got to do it with your eyes open. Now, why? Because if you're feeling the feelings of your emotions, of your future, you're no longer looking for them. You're in the future now. Your body is so objective that it's believing it's living in that reality where you are abundant. As long as you feel that emotion, you're not separate from it any longer. You're no longer in lack. You're no longer looking for it to occur. Say, why hasn't it happened yet? If you're feeling abundant, why would you look? Right? So then, our job then is to be able to maintain that modified state of mind and body. So, okay, so does that mean like you should check your bank account tomorrow and see if there's $500,000 in it? No. You keep tuning into that potential, and then here come the synchronicities. Yes. What's that? That's feedback in your environment. The universe saying, hey, Lewis, whatever you're doing, all of a sudden, you're starting to create, right? And I think it's so important for people to remember that they're the creators of their lives instead of the victim of their lives, right? So the victim is saying, I'm feeling this way because that person or that circumstance or I don't have any money is causing...
Hey, listen, that's what I was waiting on. That's what I was waiting on. Did you hear that clip? Who is that? Do we know who that is?
Lewis Howes?
Lewis Howes. See, most of us are not granting access, right? Because we are the writer, director, and producer of a self-fulfilling prophecy where we are also the star. Oh, that's Dr. Joe Dispenza. Where we're also the star of our victimhood flick, of our this happened to me, and I am owed this, and I am due this. And this is why typically it never comes. And let me tell you something. Have you ever watched, I'm from my generation, I'm aging myself, I Dream of Jeannie? Barbara Eden was a gorgeous woman. I can't even front. But even whenever you watched anything that was genie related, yeah, you get the wish, right? You get the wish, but the wish never really works out. Why? Because the wish is coming from a broken space. The wish is coming from an imbalanced space, right? It's never coming from a whole space. Many of us are wishing for a better relationship while guarding against it. And if we don't do any self-work or any self-investigations, right, to figure out why we're the way we are, we keep attracting the same kind of person who's probably modified his act or her act in order to get back into your space. Tonight's topic is talking about the law of access. And I need you to understand, for most of us, we don't relate, we trespass. To name it love or bond or connection may merely offer a semantic veil for what often functions as psychological surveillance, energetic theft, or spiritual prostitution. What we commonly call intimacy frequently resembles a trauma reenactment cloaked in sentimentality. A compulsive unveiling of the soul not to be met, but to be mirrored, validated, or consumed. Herein lies the unspoken premise of the law of access. Sacred things shared with unworthy people become portals for dark forces. Access is not love. Access is a frequency of agreement, an invitation, whether conscious or unconscious, into the most vulnerable chambers of one's being. And when this invitation is granted, without discernment, without the spiritual clearance of mutual evolution, we mistake emotional nakedness for soul resonance. and we can hemorrhage, in essence. We actually hemorrhage essence. Drawing upon the work of Dr. David R. Hawkins, his consciousness calibration, we see that not all beings vibrate at the same octave of integrity. Yet, in the trauma-adapted psyche, unhealed inner children open doors indiscriminately. As Patrick Carnes notes, we seek the familiar in the dysfunctional. We seek the familiar in the dysfunctional. The White Knight Syndrome by Marilyn Lamia, and the compulsion to rescue often disguise an unconscious barter. I will give you my sacredness if you rescue me from myself. Hell nah. You're going to get the foyer access. You're not going to get the green room access. You're not going to get the upper room access. You're not going to get it. Do you hear what I'm saying? We don't understand our true infinite worth, which is why access is easy. Do you understand? This is not love. This is covert begging. The law of access demands that we interrogate, right, this spiritual promiscuity, right? When Pema Chodron writes that suffering is the portal to presence, she invites us into a revelation. If we do not guard the suffering that refines us, we risk commodifying our growth in the name of connection. To offer our unprocessed truths to those who cannot metabolize them is not vulnerability, it's self-harm. When I come forward, the voice of reason, we're gonna keep cooking. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? Are y'all understanding what we're laying down here? Are y'all understanding what we laying down here? We love you, Zoe. What up, Jasmine? Shout out, Master Teacher. I'm just hoping you guys are resonating and you're understanding what we're talking about. We is clear.
has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com.
It's making hella sense. Cool. Because if it's not, tell me.
Autopsy, then click on request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
What are you fearful about? Something that will happen or you think will happen, isn't it? Fear is always about something which does not exist right now. It's always about what will happen. So you are suffering that which does not exist. If you're suffering that which does not exist, there are psychiatric terms for that. Your only comfort is everybody is in the same state. They are suffering things which does not exist simply because in your education system you are studying about everything except how to manage this. You must know how to keep this, how to conduct this body, how to conduct this mind, how to conduct this emotional structure and the energy structure. If you do not know anything about this, then you are an accidental being.
Hey, I hear you, sad guru. Don't. I hear you out here cooking, old boy. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's good work, man. We got callers on the line. I want to get them in here before the end of the show here. Davy Lee out of Arkansas. Davy Lee, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
It's a great topic for tonight. You know, it shows me a lot within myself because, like I've explained a couple of calls back, you know, I got to deal with certain things in my life that, you know, it made me bring myself back to when I've gave people too much access to my thoughts and my ideas that could possibly destroy somebody's mindset. You know, it could destroy their mentality to where they feel no hope within themselves, or they could fall in love with themselves because they're so focused on what they feel love is to them. You know, you can destroy somebody's image of themselves by just being too hard up on them or not doing what you're supposed to do for yourself in the first place. So sometimes I feel like, you know, going through situations with my mother having schizophrenia and bipolar disorders that, you know, I'm forced on the challenge of working through certain things that I may not have worked with in the past when I was a teenager or when I had the opportunity to, you know, stomach certain things that I didn't. So now I'm forced to stomach certain things in order for the well-being of others and myself in certain aspects. So,
come on, man. Come on, Davy Lee. Man, don't come in here with that grown-up mess. I love it, brother. Hey, man.
You're teaching as well, man. We're going to teach ourselves, too.
Man, I love that, brother. Dang. Hey, man, I love you, brother. If I never see you in my life, man, just know that I love you, brother. Hey, man, no, for real. That was so transparent. That was so real, so honest. Man, hey, man, I'm honored that you tap in and you tune in and you listen to this show, man. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you. It helps a lot. You know, just by having the different mindsets that you give us throughout all these different shows, through all y'all speaking, it helped me get an understanding of what I should do for just going on forward within this moment and trying to stick it in there, man. You got to stick the landing, man. Just like the book say. That way you could figure it out for other relationships that you may have.
Man.
Just for this one right here, you You gotta stomach certain things that you wouldn't like, but it may turn out beautiful in the end. You never know.
Man, guess what you just did, brother? Just come
I
on.
brought y'all to the stage, baby.
Yeah. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. Hey, Andy, do we have that other clip of the poet? Because I want to play this clip. I want people to hear this clip. Listen, we talking about why you should be careful and why you should, you know what I'm saying, protect yourself and oh my God, don't let people have access to you. Yeah. I get it. That is the mindset of the unhealed, though. When you are healed, you will welcome people into your energy. Why? Because that's when you understand my energy is infinite. You can't take from me. I'm not worried about pouring into you and not having enough for me. I'm tapped into the source of all that is. I don't lose anything by pouring into you. When you grow up spiritually, you start to recognize I gotta let people in so I can keep up leveling. Uh-oh. See, it's only the broken ones. It's only the wounded ones that are saying, oh no, keep the doors closed. Because they're hurting. And they think they will hurt more. And they're right. Up leveling hurts. But trust me, it's worth it. Now, I'm not saying let somebody come in and beat you up. We're talking psychologically. We're talking spiritually. What did Rumi say? Right? The wound is where the light enters. Keep breaking your heart until it opens. Play this clip so y'all can understand.
She said, oh, how long you been doing poetry? I said, many years, more than 20. But when I caught her expression, my smile started to fade. She said, more than 2 decades and you still performing around the way? I at least thought you'd been on Broadway or a national stage. My nostrils fled. I shifted in my seat. I adjusted my glasses. I said, what'd she say to me? She said, I'm just saying, more than 20 years should probably bring you fame. I said, well, the fact that I'm still in demand leaves me amazed. I'm grateful. I looked at sis again. There was no scales, no sharp talons, but it was a little smoke on her tongue. She was hateful. She said, how old are you? I took a long look around the room. I was hinting at sis to go on and move. I was trying not to be rude. I said, I'm in my early 40s. She said, true. I don't see no ring. I said, no, baby girl, not yet. She said, oh, so you ain't meet nobody who wanted to take you off the market? I said, well, of the few men that I dated, there was one I thought I would be with for life, but it didn't work out that way. She said, another independent woman who can't find her Mr. Right. I said, sis, you want to fight? But she laughed at my offense. Instead of falling back, she leaned in. She said, you sitting here like you ain't got no friends. At least tell me you got some kids. I said, I don't have no time for this. My life is beautiful the way that it is. She said, oh, you one of them. I said, one of who, friend? She said, you the type to meet a grim reality with toxic positivity. You sitting there like you never wanted to be mommy or wifey. I said, you're talking to a woman who has a radical acceptance for whatever God has for me. I said, honestly, I'm at peace. And I remembered I didn't even have to be in this woman's vicinity. I started to gather my things up quickly. I said, for the record, I didn't enjoy your company. But since you forced yourself upon me, the least you can do is tell me your name. Sis gonna say same. I said, same as what, girl? Stop playing. She said, same as the woman that I'm talking to, boo. She said, sis, I'm you. I'm the dark corners of your brain. I give voice to what your subconscious be saying. She said, you met a lot of hurt people who wanted you to feel the same. You used to ignore it, but now in the quiet corners of your day, you start to regurgitate all of the negative things they used to throw your way. Then she said, look around, sis, I'm not even here. But I'm glad that you can hear your inner thoughts really are that rude. You need to get to therapy and get them people's opinions up off of you. Because I know your life is beautiful, but the question is, do you? She said, right now, you sounding like your own biggest hater. And I wanted you to know that until you let their opinions go, you are the only dragon that needs slaying. Thank y'all.
Yeah. The voice of reason ain't playing with y'all this evening. You're afraid to give access because you're afraid to be re-traumatized. But at the same time, being afraid of being re-traumatized, you go out and reenact the very act that traumatized you in the first place by choosing that which is familiar. You don't want to heal. You want to escape. But the more you escape, the more time you add. Right? Spiritual dropouts don't get to evolve. What they do is create more entropy in their lives. How many times have you met a person that's so damn articulate about everything, spiritual, all of it? Know everything, life a mess. How you know everything? And it still ain't good. It still ain't cool. Same person you was with 3 other people. Do you see? This, oh, I got to protect my energy, because my energy, Listen, healing requires courage. And until you have the courage to go into that inner cave of you and battle with you, the lessons will continue to come. You'll continue to be fearful. Oh, I got to protect myself. Listen, if you won with God, why would you need protection? Yeah, a lot of y'all lack faith and don't even know it. When we come forward, the voice of reason gonna keep the fire cooking. Tomorrow I got another one. Let's go. Boom. Gone. Yes, sir. Holla at y'all. Great show. Appreciate everybody. All right. Deuces.